right seems to me to be dynamite when he lets it go. Rudkin always stepping in with the attacks, which means that the right hand of Vega's becomes almost useless to him. It's when he moves away from Vega that the trouble starts. 4 rounds completed of a really good little battle between these two bantamweights. Oaxaca, which is where he comes from, is an interesting place. It's the capital of the southern state of Oaxaca, state the same name as the capital. It's about 300 miles southeast of Mexico City, and like Mexico City, where the next Olympic Games are going to be held, Oaxaca is at a very high altitude indeed. In fact, it stands about 5,000 feet above sea level, but a moderate sort of climate, average temperature about 68 degrees. It's a pretty well agricultural area, still very much undeveloped industrially. Now, that's where Vega comes from, and it's where Saldivar, the Mexican featherweight champion of the world, also comes from. Let's look now at Rudkin quickly before they come out for the fifth, with Bobby Neal and Freddie Hill, his trainer, in the ring with him. Very successful stable. Scheduled 10-rounder, Alan Rudkin, the British and Empire bantamweight champion, against Raul Vega of Mexico, substituting for Norman Parra, the bantamweight champion of California. Vega now has gone southpaw suddenly. For what reason, I don't know, unless it's a thought perhaps that he might be able to get that right hand working more effectively by turning southpaw. So now he's leading with the knockout hand. Well, this is a sign that the Vega camp are not altogether pleased with the first 4 rounds. A major change in tactics. Rudkin now looking more confident than he has at any time. Out in front, of course, only brief flashes of danger from Vega, but when they have come, they've looked very dangerous. And now he's gone back orthodox again. And Rudkin is cut. Rudkin has got a cut by his right eye in the 5th round. Now then, he's got a fight coming up on April the 26th, defending his titles against Walter McGowan of Wembley. And he's cut here in the 5th round. And this is the last thing he wanted to happen. Difficult to see at the moment exactly where the cut is and how bad it is, but it looks to me as though it's on the eyebrow. It doesn't look too bad. So that's the end of the 5th round, and now Rudkin comes back to his corner for a little bit of attention on that right eye. I don't think it's too bad a cut. It looked to me to be high up, somewhere near the eyebrow, and it wasn't bleeding at all badly. But if you remember, I told you one of the 2 fights he's ever lost was on a cut eye, but that was way back in his 2nd professional fight, and this is his 28th. And he doesn't normally suffer terribly with eye trouble. But nonetheless, it's a nasty handicap to have with 5 rounds still to go against a man with the obvious punching ability of Raul Vega. The Mexican, Augie de Milty, in the ring with him. Al Phillips, his agent, outside the ring. Al Phillips, former Empire featherweight champion. The old Allgate Tiger, Al Phillips, on the outside of the ring there. Well, there's no bleeding at all now from Rudkin's eye, and I think the cut is high enough not to be too menacing. No signs of further trouble from Rudkin's eye. It's not even bleeding. Oh, what another good body punch. He really does sink him in. Great encouragement to see somebody like Rudkin doing this, because British fighters are not renowned for their body punching. It's an art which has very largely been lost in this country. Danger of body punching, of course, is that if one does slip low, you're liable to be disqualified, and that really is why it's been lost as an art in this country. Americans, with their no foul rule, can wham away at body punching to heart's content, and do. Well, Rudkin is taking a few of these right-handers from Vega. He doesn't want to walk into too many of them. Although he's in front, at least he's in front by my reckoning. I don't know about Mr. Austin O'Connor, the referee, but certainly by my reckoning, Rudkin's in front. But he hasn't really, you'll notice even at this stage now, got a complete ascendancy over his opponent. Far from it. Right hand again, high up on the temple. No sign of trouble at all from that eye. Been completely closed up. Beautiful bit of corner work by Freddie Hill, the trainer. Really has done a first-class job on it. Freddie having another look at it there, but it doesn't really need any more attention. It's been completely staunched. A fine piece of corner work. That's not always something that happens either. Some corners just can't sometimes stop bleeding. It largely depends on the skill of your cut man, as they call him, and that's Freddie Hill. Rudkin, of course, was a famous amateur. He boxed for England 11 times as an amateur. He was runner-up in the 1962 ABA bantamweight final. And he was one of Britain's 10 winners in that famous whitewash match against the USA, when Britain won 10-0. He's born in North Wales, but he's lived in Liverpool most of his life, although he now lives in Enfield in London. Vega. Another asset that Rudkin has, of course, is this ability to pace himself. You might have noticed that although he's boxing beautifully here, one always feels that he's got plenty in reserve if it was really necessary. And now Rudkin seems to me to be cut again, and this time it's a vertical cut, a short one, but a vertical cut over the same eye, but near his nose this time. So this right eye of Rudkin's is really going through it tonight. And this one looks to me altogether more serious than the other one. So this is two cuts now that Rudkin has got. One, I think, on the corner of the eyebrow, and this one vertically down near the nose. And this certainly looks like a rather nasty one. 7th round. Rudkin is beginning to bleed quite heavily. Well, this one does look like a really bad one to me. Rudkin bleeding very heavily indeed now. Now he's got just over half a minute to go. Just under half a minute now for Rudkin to get through this round before he can go for repairs, and he's going to need them this time very badly. Hill practically ran out to the middle of the ring to get him, to say, come on, we haven't got much time, and he's going to have to work on this one. We'll stay with this because this is where all the drama of the fight is now, right here in this corner. And they've got about another 40 seconds to staunch this flow of blood from a cut which is about 3/4 of an inch long, I would guess. Coming down above the right eye near the nose, and the referee Austin O'Connor is coming over to have a look at it, see how they're going with it. Bobby Neal nods and says yes, it's all right, as he was almost bound to do. And the crowd clap as Austin O'Connor walks away. So Rudkin is coming out for the 8th with a bad cut now, the second cut over the right eye, and a month and 5 days away from his title defenses with Walter McGowan. Stop the bleeding, but you can see the scar of it. My word, you can. It stands out vividly on the rather pale face of Rudkin. Imagine what Vega must be feeling now. Here's a man who's not ranked in the top 10. He's got in front of him one of the leading bantamweights in the world with a badly cut eye, and Vega can sense victory. And that would boost his stock considerably. And that cut has begun to bleed again. And we're not quite halfway through the 8th. And it's got to go 10 rounds. Rudkin's really got a hit and run now. He shouldn't be trying to take the fight to Vega, because I don't think he could possibly knock him out. So with a cut like that, the thing is to keep out of harm's way, but he keeps going inside and the heads keep bumping, and that starts the bleeding off again. Hit and run, these ought to be the tactics. Half a minute of this round left. Rudkin is putting that eye within harm's way all the time, and the shoulder of Vega now is beginning to rub all over it as they come inside. Freddie Hill, the trainer, waiting to pounce in the ring from the corner. Can't wait to get in, hardly. There's the bell. And once more they go to work, and once more Austin O'Connor is there to have a look. And Bobby Neal saying urgently, it's all right, it's all right. And Austin O'Connor walks away. And so Rudkin is going to come out for the 9. And you see Bobby Neal look up there at the man holding the number board. He wants to know just how far this boy's got to go, and he's got 2 rounds, 6 minutes more of very, very competitive boxing to come. And it is touch and go now to see whether Rudkin can last out these 6